In the last lecture, we learned what is a model in Mongoose and how we can use that model to create documents inside a collection in MongoDB database. Now there, we also found one drawback. So if I go to VS Code, here we are creating a schema using Mongoose, and using the schema we are telling that for any hotel object, I want to have a name, I want to have a price, and I want to have a city property. And I'm also specifying the data type for each of these fields. But here if you see, I'm able to insert a document, a hotel document in the hotel collection where the name is empty string and where the city property is not present. So if I go to Compass, you will see that I have a hotel object where I have name as empty string and where the city property is not present. Okay. So what I want is, before any document gets inserted in this hotels collection from our Express application, before that, I want to validate the data. I want to check the data which we are trying to insert. If the name field is proper or not, it should not be an empty string. If the city field is present or not, and if the price field is present or not. So for that, we are going to use Mongoose built-in validators. In Mongoose, schema validators are rules defined within a Mongoose schema that ensures that the data we are trying to save to the database meets specific criteria. They act as a data integrity layer at the application level, preventing our Express server from saving invalid data. And this is crucial step because it helps us maintain a clean and reliable database by catching errors before they reach the data store. Okay, now how can we use these schema validators? Let's see that. Let's go back to VS Code, and here we are specifying the field names. Now to this field name, instead of directly specifying the data type to this, we need to assign an object like this, and inside that, first we are going to set the type, basically what type of data this name field can store. In this case, this name field is going to store a string value, and then I want this name field to be a required field. Its value cannot be empty string. So here I'm going to set required to true. Okay, and what I also want is, each hotel should have a unique name. For that, I have another validator which is unique. Okay, so I'm also going to set unique to true. That means no two hotel document in the hotel collection should have same name. And this is for temporary. I just want to show you different validators which we can use. All right. Now for this price also, I want to add some validation. So instead of directly assigning the type, here I'm going to use an object. And inside that object, first of all, we will specify the type. So here the price is going to store a number value. Okay. Then this price is also going to be a required field, and I'm going to set it to true. And here, since it is a number type, this price field is going to store a numeric value. Here, I can also specify the minimum and maximum value for the price. So for example, let's say the minimum value is going to be maybe 100 and the maximum value is going to be 10,000 for the hotel price. So this also I can specify. And in the same way, for string values, we have min length. So let's say I want to set the min length as maybe 5. So any hotel object should not have a name which is less than 5 characters. So that I can do using this min length property. And then I can also go ahead and I can set max length. And let's say no hotel object should have a name which has more than 100 characters. So these are other validators which we can use on string value. So basically min length and max length we can use on string fields, and min and max validator we can use on price field. In the same way, for the city, I can go ahead and I can specify the type. So here I'm going to specify the type as string. Okay, and this is going to be a required field. So here I'll say require true. Okay, and actually it should be required and not require. All right. Now, when we are specifying these validators, we can also specify a validation error message. Now, when you want to specify a validation error message, in that case, to that field, instead of assigning the value directly, so for example, let's say here, if the value for this name field is not provided, since I have set it as required, we will get a validation error, but we can also set a custom validation error message. For that, to this required field, instead of assigning the value directly, what I can do is I can wrap in within square brackets. So as the first element, I will specify the value of this required validator. And as the second argument, I can specify a custom error message saying hotel name is required, something like this. Okay. Then for this unique also, if a user is trying to specify a duplicate hotel name, since I have set this unique to true, for this also I can specify a custom validation error message saying that hotel name should be unique or must be unique. Okay. Then in the same way for this min length, I can go ahead and I can wrap it within square brackets. And here I can say hotel name must have minimum 5 characters. All right. So in this way, you can also specify custom validation error messages. Let me do the same thing here. Okay. And in the same way, we can add custom validation error messages for these fields also. Okay. And now, since we have added these validations on these fields in this hotel schema, if I try to create a new hotel without providing a name field, and if I try to save the changes here, let's go to the terminal, we should see a validation error message. You see, here we have a validation error message where it says hotel name is required. So before the data is getting saved in the database, before that, the validation is happening. The validation of the data which we are trying to save, that is happening. And if that data does not follow these validations, in that case, that data will not be saved in the database. So here, let me go ahead and let me specify a hotel name, maybe test2. And now if I save the changes, again, we should have an error. So let's go back to the terminal again. And this time we have another validation error, which says hotel city is required. So this is the custom validation error message which we are showing when the city property is not displayed. The city is a required field, if you see here. And if the value for the city is not provided in the document which we are trying to save, in that case, we are getting this validation error message, this custom validation error message. So here, let me also go ahead and let me specify the city property. Let's say city is going to be Jaipur. Okay. And here, let me specify the price as 10. So if you see, the minimum price value should be 100 and maximum should be 10,000. If I save the changes and if I go back to the terminal again, we should have another validation error message which says this price is less than minimum allowed value. So this is built-in validation error message which is coming because for this validation we have not provided a custom validation error. I can do that. I can say price must be minimum 100. Okay. And in the same way here also I can say price can be maximum of 10,000. Okay, so now if I save the changes, we should see this custom validation error message in the terminal. You can see now we are seeing the custom validation error message which says price must be minimum 100. So in this way, if we try to save a document in our database which is not a valid document, that means which does not have all the required fields and the required field does not contain a valid data, in that case, that will not be saved in the MongoDB database collection. Before the data gets saved in the collection, before that, the validation will happen. Okay. So if I specify proper value, let's say the price is 1000. And now if I save the changes, we should not have any validation error. If I scroll down, we do not have any validation error. And if I go to Compass and if I refresh the collection, now you will see that that document has been created because this document has all the valid data. It has a proper hotel name. It has a price which is greater than 100 and less than 10,000. And it also has this city property which is required. So that's why it is saved in the database. Now the next question which will come to your mind is, at what stage the validation occurs? So here I have created a schema, and based on that schema I have created a model. But when I'm trying to save this object in the collection, at what point the validation is happening? Well, the validation is happening in this example. The validation is happening when we are trying to call this save method on this hotel1 object. So before the data gets saved in the database, before that, this save method is internally going to call the validators to validate the object which we are passing to it. And if that object is valid, if it contains valid data, then it will be saved in the MongoDB database collection. Otherwise, it is going to throw an error. So when we are using save method on a document, this save method will first perform the validation, and if the data is valid, then it is going to save that document in the collection. In the same way, if you are using create method, so this create method, it is a shortcut for creating a new document and then saving it in a single step. So if you're using create method also, this create method also first validates the data. If the data is valid, then only it is going to create and save that document in the collection. And in the same way, on the document, if you call the validate method, this validate method is also first going to validate the data, and then it is going to commit the save operation. But you also need to remember that there are some methods which does not call the validators by default. So for example, the update methods like update1, update many, find by ID and update, and find one and update, these are some update methods which do not run the validation by default. When we use save method or create method, they run the validation on the document by default. And if the document is valid, then only it gets saved in the database. But these methods, these update methods, they do not run the validation by default. If you want to run validation before updating a document, then you need to explicitly set it. And for that, you need to pass an option like this. So here you see on the hotel model, I'm calling this find by ID and update method, where I'm specifying the hotel ID which I want to update. There I'm trying to update the name of the hotel to A. And then I'm also passing an optional argument here where I'm setting run validators to true. And this option will make sure that before updating the document in the collection, it first runs the validators. If the data is valid, then only it is going to update the document in the collection. So you need to remember about these methods, that for these methods, if you want to perform validation, then you need to call this run validators explicitly. All right, so this is all I wanted to cover in this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.